The gavel had barely struck when the officer's hand cracked across her face. Gasps filled the courtroom. She did not shout. She did not fight back. Seconds later, the same woman rose and walked to the front, taking the judge's seat. She did not flinch when the officer's hand landed. Her cheek burned, her dignity bruised, yet her back remained straight. Around her, the courtroom hushed into an uneasy silence. Some eyes widened in shock. Others dropped in complicity, pretending not to see. The injustice was raw, visible, undeniable, yet no one moved to stop it. And she, the woman at the center, chose not to retaliate with anger. Instead, she stood taller, her silence heavier than the strike itself. Her name was Naomi Carter. To those who judged only by her skin and silence, she was easy to dismiss. But behind her calm presence stood years of sacrifice, service, and wounds the world could not see. She was no stranger to struggle. The uniformed men who mocked her now did not know she had once worn a uniform herself. Years before, Naomi had served overseas. She had marched under burning suns, her boots sinking into sand and gravel, her ears ringing with the echoes of sirens and gunfire. She had carried brothers and sisters back to safety, her arms trembling under their weight, the metallic smell of blood clinging to her hands. When she returned home, she carried the war inside her. She lost friends not only in battle but to silence afterward. She buried grief deep within, and she rebuilt her life with steady, patient strength. Her faith in justice was unshaken, so she pursued law. She spent nights hunched over books, the lamp casting a halo around weary eyes. She believed the courtroom was where truth would prevail, where dignity would be honored. But this day proved otherwise. As she sat on the witness bench, an officer barked at her, his words laced with contempt. She answered calmly, her tone respectful, yet respect did not shield her. He advanced, towering, then struck her, his palm echoing through the chamber. The judge did not stop him. The clerks lowered their eyes. Even the public gallery remained still. It was a theater of silence, where injustice was performed in plain sight. Naomi did not cry out. She placed her hand gently against her cheek, her eyes steady. Every second of silence from the crowd pressed like a weight upon her chest. Yet she refused to bow. Her silence was not weakness, it was resistance. The tension grew heavier with every breath. The officer smirked, convinced he had silenced her spirit. The bystanders avoided her gaze, complicit in their fear, but Naomi's silence carried a storm that no one yet understood. In her bag lay a single envelope, unremarkable in its appearance. Inside was a letter from the state bar, a confirmation few had seen. Naomi Carter, appointed as the youngest federal judge in her district. Today was to be her first official appearance, not as witness, but as the very authority these officers claimed to serve. She rose slowly, each movement deliberate. The gallery whispered, confusion rippling like wind through dry leaves. She walked past the officer who struck her. He straightened, his smirk faltering. Past the clerks, past the stunned silence, she climbed the steps to the bench. And there, in front of those who mocked her moments earlier, Naomi took the judge's seat. The room shifted instantly. Power turned on its head. The very space that had humiliated her now belonged to her. The officer's face drained of color. The audience gasped again, this time not in pity, but in awe. She lifted the gavel with steady hands, her voice calm but unshakable. Silent dignity is the loudest voice of all, she said. No one dared move. No one dared laugh. Authority no longer belonged to the loud, but to the one who stood firm in silence. The same people who watched her struck now rose to their feet, shame heavy in their hearts. Some bowed their heads in apology. The officer lowered his gaze, stripped of the arrogance that once cloaked him. Naomi did not gloat. She did not need to. Her power was not in revenge, but in justice itself. She ordered calm in the court, and this time her words were obeyed. Respect filled the chamber, where contempt had lived only moments earlier. Her life had taught her that true justice is not delivered in noise, but in presence. Her scars from battle had forged a strength that did not tremble under humiliation. She knew that the measure of a person was not in how loudly they demand respect, but in how silently they hold it. Honor is not spoken. It is lived, she declared, her words reverberating across the courtroom. In that moment, the crowd realized what they had witnessed. Not just the humiliation of a woman, but the triumph of her silent strength. They rose as one, standing in respect. No applause, no cheers, just silence. The kind of silence that carries more weight than thunder. Her story spread beyond the walls of that courtroom. It became a reminder that those who endure injustice with calm resolve carry within them a fire unshaken. Naomi Carter proved that sometimes the most powerful strike is not the one delivered in anger, but the one delivered in silence, with honor. And so the officer's hand may have landed first, but it was Naomi's presence that delivered the final blow. She left that day not as victim, but as victor. Not because she shouted, but because she never needed to. Sometimes the most powerful victories are not seen in battles fought with fists or rage, but in moments when dignity sits higher than power and silence commands more than words ever could. This story is a reminder that respect cannot be demanded by force. It is earned by honor, and silent strength can shake the foundations of injustice more than noise ever will. Wherever you are watching from, think about the silent heroes in your life. The ones who endure quietly, who stand tall in storms without seeking applause. Share their names in the comments. Tell us what this story means to you. And if Naomi's silent strength inspired you, subscribe for more stories that honor those unseen battles and quiet victories. Because sometimes the strongest voice in the room is the one that never raises itself.